And a million of them.
We're not live. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Funday with Paul and Judy.
All right, the first disclaimer.
What's that?
Well, while you're laughing and that we're late, tell them why.
You mean as far as
There's a disclaimer. We don't know if we're going to freeze because we have no Ethernet connection right now.
Yeah, you should see all the cords that we have. And I said to Dallas, who, as you know, is going to be our special guest today, I said, how do I sound? She said, you're frozen. You look good, but you're frozen. Like, okay, this isn't good. So the disclaimer is that we might freeze
and keep us apprised as you always do.
Yeah, we always pay close attention to your comments, and we rely on them for how things are going for you guys out there. But we hope you've had a really good weekend so far.
We missed you last week.
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm. And in fact, one of the women who had seen the promotion said, were you guys gone last week? And I said, we were. It was a similar situation to today, in that we were talking to the management about getting an Ethernet cord and we actually had traveled with our Ethernet cord. All we wanted was for the room Ethernet box to work. And they said, for security reasons, we can't do that for you. That won't be happening.
And their Wi-Fi would have definitely not done it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, so we decided not to put you through that and wait for today, but hopefully it will be worth the wait.
I think so.
Oh, you think so?
I think it will be. Maybe you'll hear us even if you can't see us.
Yes, exactly. But let us know where you're from. We love to see those cities and states come through. It's always fun to see how far and wide and even around the world sometimes we reach. And also, if you have any questions for Dallas, be sure to post them in the comments. And when I see them, I will definitely put them up and we'll talk about them. So Jane says, so far, things are looking good. Well, and you're looking forward to today.
I've always been a little bit jealous, how cool it would be to have a first name of a city.
Oh, I know. And
Tampa Bay, Judy?
That doesn't quite work, does it? No.
Pittsburgh, Paul?
Tokyo, Judy.
Tokyo. I like it. I do like it. In other news, before we bring in our guest, of course, a couple of weeks ago when we last did our Sunday Funday, it's like that soap opera. Well, when we last saw
on Sunday Funday,
I asked you guys to push me over the 300 subscriber mark, and they did. I'm at 319. So, who's Pa?
She was in a hurry. She wanted to say hello fast.
So anyway, we'll talk about YouTube a little bit later.
Yeah.
Is there any other old business that we need to figure out?
Only the explanation for what I'm wearing. We went to a nice tropical place last week for our anniversary, and I still want to feel like I'm continuing the vacation.
Well, we have our traditional. This will be our first Brie Day in 3 Sundays.
That's right.
So we're definitely jonesing for that.
You know about our tradition. Ocean Pines, Maryland, welcome to the show. And everyone writing in from New Orleans and Connecticut and New York and Naperville. And we're seeing them all come through. Delaware. Keep them coming.
We were so caught off guard. We hadn't done our cheers.
We actually did.
We did.
You must have been walking in your sleep.
Okay. I don't remember.
But we'll do it again because I told Dallas when she comes on, we expect her to have a beverage. And just so you know, because this is all virtual, Dallas is out in California, so I made her set her alarm a little earlier than maybe she's used to.
This is early for those.
Well, without further ado, let's welcome her into the show. Miss Dallas Prince is going to be joining us momentarily. There she is, beautiful lady.
Hi, guys.
Good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
First of all, I have to thank you for doing this because I have missed you guys. Something awful. I mean, really, really have missed you guys. So I'm thrilled to be here. I'm glad we have a few customers watching today.
Good.
But I'm about to surprise you. I'm going to do something funny to start this off, okay?
I love it. Okay.
So for everyone watching, Judy and I have been, let's say, shopping friends for a long, long time.
That's true.
And whenever we were together in the same place, we would run around and just look at things. And we realized we had a love for a specific line of clothing, and we would show up sometimes with the same things. Well, when Judy was frozen on the screen, as she mentioned, I saw what she was wearing. And I want to show you what my backup was for the show today. Are you kidding me?
Gosh, that's hysterical.
Well, you have to-
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding? That's
But
a
you have to.
riot.
They do like the same store. And I even know what it is. I'm
And
not
we
going
have
to
the
say.
same taste, even if
But-
we're shopping at different stores.
I was always grateful when Dallas and Judy were there at the same time, because then she would drag her to the mall in Minnesota, so I wouldn't.
So
have
that
to
you
go.
didn't have to go.
Yeah.
Well, Dallas, that is a perfect segue into a couple of really fun things to show. So let me pull these up on the screen for you, and I'm going to have us both come down, but our audio will still be up so that we can chat about it. Okay.
Okay.
So here's one. Speaking of shopping at the mall.
Oh my gosh, I know. And we were photobombed.
Yes, we were
Which is even
photobombed.
better.
And you know what? I realize now I totally should have bought those glasses. They're adorable.
They are, and you should have. You know, I have to tell you, sometimes it was just about trying things on, you know, and Judy, hello, you look kind of fabulous in absolutely everything. So I would use her for, I even did something to her one time that's very scary almost. I showed up at a store that we went to. I didn't know that she was in town. And oh my gosh, look at this. We're doing our best Kardashian look.
I love this picture.
By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't. I know this is a family-friendly show,
Yes.
but you also look fabulous in absolutely nothing. Just wanted to make sure that.
Thank you, Paul.
You can always count on him.
Judy happened to be back in the dressing rooms, and the girls out front that knew the two of us saw me and said, "Oh, Judy's here." And I went, "Really?" So I grabbed some clothes off the rack and I went back where she was, knocked on the door, and I said, "I have a couple more things for you." I mean, it was like the best surprise ever. I mean, it was hilarious, but boy, good
Too much fun.
times.
Dallas, you did bring your beverage, did you not? Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay.
I'm clinking.
It's so good to have you on this show. What are you drinking?
This is kind of a combination, but let's just say that the low tone on this is Orange Monster.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
The high tone on this is grapefruit juice.
Ah,
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm going to be pretty fired up in about 30 minutes. So we got to get this going.
Yeah.
oh, it is early out there. So, one of the things, I don't know how many people know this, but you've won several awards for your jewelry designs. Can you talk about that?
You know, I have. And I guess what's kind of exciting about that is it's on both sides of the fence. I've won from my peers in the jewelry industry, and I've also won a few things from the retailers, which is nice. I don't think, I don't talk about it much, but I am in a few stores.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and pops, and they're the most fabulous people ever, and they support me so much. So the awards, when they happen, you have to realize you're in an industry with a tremendous amount of talented designers. So it's not just an honor; it's making it through the Academy Awards almost sometimes.
Sure, I'm
But
sure.
It's very poignant that you asked that, because all of my Spectrum Award entries were due on Friday. So I shipped them just a couple of days ago.
Wow.
So I do have some entries in the Spectrum Awards for this year, and they are happening. And they just introduced who the judges were. I got to be a judge a couple of years ago, so inside intel.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm always excited about that.
I recommend you take the judges to the bar, get them a little tipsy. Never hurts. I'm not saying it's bribing. It's just getting to know you.
I've actually always wondered about that. And when I was a judge, that we couldn't even tell people where we were. We couldn't tell them hotel. where the judging was anything. And we were driven there I mean, if I had to get in directions there, I couldn't have gotten you there ever.
Secretive, really secretive.
Yes.
Just like the sealed envelope.
I know.
Or the Secret Service whisking you to
That's right. So
a
nobody
safe
can
place.
This might be a good time, Dallas, to bring up this conversation too, because not only about the awards and everything that we didn't even know were happening on Friday, but you have some other news for your customers that are coming up actually on ShopHQ. Tell us about that as well.
It is about to be my 16th anniversary.
Wow.
There. And thank you for showing that. So it's going to be my 16th anniversary, and I'm excited. I've got the most amount of new merchandise that has ever been presented in a few shows, and it's October 13th and 14th. And I actually have a top value, which I rarely get. So that is also incredibly exciting for me.
So I put the information up on the screen for everybody because I want them to be able to go to your page in the interim. And so the link now is in the comments. And if you get to the link, it'll take you right there. But if you just go to shophq.com, in that search box up at the top where the magnifying glass is, all you have to do is type in Dallas's name, and then you'll see her headline come up, and you can shop all of her different products. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew where to go, even though your 16th anniversary items aren't on yet, right?
It's, I don't think any of the newer pieces are on yet. They sort of hold some of the new pieces back because I don't have like big quantities. I have lower quantities. And so they do that for me specifically. But honestly, 16 years goes by in a heartbeat.
And look who's on screen right now, Dallas. Can you read who's underneath your picture?
Oh, my girl. So everyone right now, there's someone's picture on the screen, Lydia. She's in Dallas, Texas. She is my right arm, and she's the liaison between me and my manufacturer. And she's worked with me now, honestly, for over 6 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds about right.
Oh my goodness. That's a long time too. And
so congratulations to both of you on your
anniversary. She will appreciate that. She works very, very hard, and I just love her to death.
So I want to bring up a few more pictures because they're always fun to talk about. And this one happens to be one where a lot of people on screen will be recognized. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take you down, take me down, and then or Paul and me, and bring this up.
Wow.
And see if you remember this moment.
Do I? Oh my goodness. So you know what's funny about this photo? So everyone may know this. I'm a photo freak. So I used to drag everybody into photos and say, okay, everybody get up. We're going to take a photo before we go. And what's funny is how many pictures before this one that were actually taken on my camera. And they're hilarious. Before we all finally get in the group and stand up straight and smile and scooch in and all those funny things you do for photographs. Yes. Is just watching everybody get ready for the photo.
By the way,
adore this one.
Your hubby is still the tallest guy in the room. In that picture.
That was such a fun night. And of course, you saw Lynn Shocker was there, and
Candy
Hall was there. Candy was there.
I think I saw Aaron Hart.
You saw Aaron, and you also saw Sam Benham and Netta Benham, who was right over Lynn's shoulder. So lots of familiar faces in that picture that your customers would recognize.
There's always been such a huge team behind what we do at the network.
Yeah.
And they're the silent, fabulous people that do all the hard work that honestly we can't do it without them.
No, that's right.
It's amazing, the musical chairs that come together, and then all of a sudden there's a show and the product is there and we're there. And, but honestly, all of those people had something to do with the shows.
Here's another fun one, Dallas. Let me take you down and let everybody see this full screen. Here's another location. So one of them was, there's some Vegas shots, and this is actually a Tucson shot.
Yep.
And there's Chuck and his beautiful daughter, Kellyanne. And then, of course, Michael Valatutti on the far right. And you had a picture very similar to this that you showed me as well. So it's how we save all of these pictures and love to reminisce about it. It takes you back as though it happened yesterday, doesn't it?
And because
it just about did. I feel like every day that I wake up on Monday, and then I wake up and it's Friday. I don't know what happens in between. I just know that that's my week. So it does go by quickly, but I have folders and folders of you guys because I just didn't ever want to miss anything. Oh my gosh, I love this photo. Oh my gosh!
I don't know if you have this in your Judy, Heather, and Wendy album.
I do, but this is priceless.
So wait, now you describe what we were doing here because it was hysterical.
You guys came to my booth at the JCK show, and we were literally, I had so much that year in my booth, but the one thing that everyone wanted to try on was that fabulous tiara. And, I had kept it in the case. I really hadn't taken it out that much, but when you guys came, I had to. It was just perfect for you. I wish you had just walked around the show in that tiara and took pictures everywhere because it would have been fabulous. But I love that photo. Thank you for showing that one.
That was fun, and we were really we were little girls at your booth wanting to try everything on, and I think that was set up because I was the only one, well, except for maybe high school homecoming queen, but I was the only one that hadn't been in a pageant like Heather, Mrs. Minnesota, and Wendy, Mrs. Minnesota. And so everybody said, I know, we'll all stand around and we'll put it on Judy's head and all act jealous that she's the one who gets to it. We were little kids. It was so funny.
Honestly, just for me, I'm like a little kid in my own booth because I have just as much fun putting jewelry on people as I do designing it. I just want to see people enjoy what I do. And I'm always curious to see what others gravitate toward and what they like about it, why certain stones get picked up and looked at all the time. You're probably that way too, between the two of you. Paul, I know you're always drawn to certain stones. Judy, you do the same thing. We just love it.
Yep.
Yeah, we really do. It's in your blood.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, it's.
And when you've done it for so many years, and then the subject comes up, you're the first one to say, "Oh, I have the answer to that question. You were wondering about amethyst. Oh, wait, you were wondering about turquoise. No, you're talking about citrine and where that comes from." It's just so much fun to go. I know. Let me help you out here.
So, little known fact about everyone at Shop was that it was easy to watch Paul Deasy and learn about stones.
Well, it was always a passion. When I got into as a host before, I became a host just to meet Judy. But I had to, it's so funny because people always say, well, gee, were you so, a rock hound as a kid? I'm like, no, I knew nothing about gems.
Yeah.
And when I became a host, back in those days, which was 1989, jewelry was 50 to 60% of the airtime at HSN at the time. And I said, if I don't learn something about this stuff, I'm going to be here for like 6 months and then boot it out. So I took classes thinking I'd be really, really bored, and it just opened up a whole world for me.
Well, you gave many of us, especially, I have to say especially me, because I was always the designer that was a stone person by trade. A gemologist by trade is someone who can identify stones, but I did not go through GIA. My husband's a graduate gemologist, but I am by trade. So I needed to know certain things. And every now and then I would run back to the green room and say, Paul, I need to know something because I don't want to say this incorrectly. And you would give me the details so
And you know what's
easily.
fun about that too, Dallas, is I think our customers all share that curiosity. And
Yeah.
and there's no question I think that is not worth asking, but it's so much fun. Even on the YouTube channel that I'm giving some lessons on, people are suggesting, why don't you do this stone? Or why don't you do this stone? And the last 3 I've done were by request. And it's fun because I can sense their enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen that, Dallas, but you can actually go on to Paul's YouTube channel, and I just put it up on the screen so everybody can also check that out and see the new videos that he's put out. But if there's anything in particular that you have coming up in your shows and you want something on Zoltanite, for instance, or chrome diopside or aquamarine, you can actually go right to his site on YouTube and watch the video.
See, that's brilliant that you have created that, because we do want to do that.
Yep.
You know, you're the right person to do that. It is, you know, I can do videos all day long about design and all of that, but I'm probably not going to do as many on stones. There are some stones that I'm passionate, crazy about, probably in that direction, but I just want to show how pretty they are.
I think
Yeah.
I think part of it too, at least I'll speak for Judy and me if you allow me to. The fact that very early in our careers we were sent to mines in other countries, and that's when I learned that no matter how much I learned from the Gemological Institute of America, I learned more by being at the mines than we learned in a month
Any
of books.
class you
Yeah.
could sit in. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that once you get bitten by that bug, you're done.
Yes. And we haven't been to a mine in a couple of years, so we're kind of itching to
Which
go
is long
again.
for us. Yeah.
It's a long time. It was
You know, if you guys end up going to a mine that's in any way achievable for me to be there,
you pop
count
in.
me
Yeah.
in.
That
I
was-
think
and-
that would be an absolute blast, to say
I
the
would
very
love to
least,
see-
that I'm a really good photographer. So
Yes.
I can be a videographer. I can work
Right.
for you.
So
I can
she's
attest to that. All the shots that Dallas ever took,
working for
when
her
anybody
supper.
was ever around. In fact,
That's true.
I have another one here for you, Dallas, that was taken with one of your cameras, because we all wanted Dallas's camera to be the one that took the picture.
That's true. Judy had camera envy.
I had serious camera envy. I mean, look at how
Oh
cool.
my gosh,
Here.
look at this.
Okay, so Dallas, true test now. Do you remember what this event was?
Girls that rock.
It was Girls That Rock. Yes. So
Sonia.
much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. And honestly, you know, I think that should have continued on for years. I thought that we really had a unique vision with that event, and it was very special. I loved it.
Yes, I did too. It was just nice to be able to see everybody getting together, but also promoting each other. So, of course, we have Sonia Baton, and then Claire also was in that shot too. She's the one who sold all of those really cool dolls. Claire Minetti and Sonia Baton in the back left side.
Yep.
So I love that as well. And I think there's even another one, Dallas, that I have. If I can find it, I will.
know,
I'll let you know.
Yeah, there were a couple that Heather, I was on with Heather in a show, and you were in the studio to come on, and we invited you into our show. And
Yes.
you were talking about a couple of things, and I have great photos from that too.
Yes.
If you have one of those, they were really special. If you don't, I'll send them to you, because you'll love how you looked.
And isn't that the most important thing? It's so funny that you say that. I went to my bar Pilates class this morning, and one of the girls was talking about it was golfing, and she said, "How are you doing?" She said, "It doesn't even matter. It's all about the outfits." And I looked really good. I said,
It's so true.
no matter what the event, skiing,
what-
golfing, tennis, as long as you look good.
We have to tell everybody again how we started the show that tuned in 5 seconds after we started.
Yeah,
This was my backup top,
and that's what Judy's wearing.
and that's what Judy's wearing right now.
And if
You know,
I
I
would've
can't
worn
even
it,
tell you. Judy and I are joined at the hip.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of really cute, fun things that you are wearing, watch this.
Okay.
Yay.
Talk about the hat that got away. I really should have bought this one.
It's another one of those situations where we were at the mall, we were having fun, we were voguing for your camera.
That's great.
And we captured that one, and it's just, I don't know, just so cute. So
well,
cute.
we just honestly, I can't even tell you. Oh, I love this one at JCK.
Yes.
Isn't this a fabulous photo?
What was the
That was
hotel that we were
called,
atop of?
yeah.
It was like one word or the
Yeah.
something. And I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
But we all did a live remote for the weekend from that hotel. Do you remember that hotel, Dallas?
Honestly, I don't, because they had never stayed there before. It was really, it was fabulous up top because of what you got to see down below. The background was amazing for us. And but it was about 108 degrees.
Yeah. Yes, that was the issue on that remote. Oh, and this is a fun one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
And I might as well just bring this one up right along with it, side by side.
This was, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We had to do a line dance, and you guys brought me that fabulous cowboy hat when you came to that. That was behind the curtain with Kimberly Wells.
It was. And Kimberly on the left picture is on the far left side. She's got her little cowboy hat on. And when Kimberly said, okay, you're coming to do a behind the curtain, and we're going to have Dallas teach us how to do a line dance. So Paul and I ran to the mall. We're like, we've got to get cowboy hats for everybody. And that just was such. Oh, speaking of that, tell us about your shows with Kimberly.
You know, I mean, Kimberly Wells is like the best social media queen on the planet. She was helping the network out quite a bit and became such an expert at showing things. And might I just commend you right now on your ability to do this Be Live and go through all the pictures and move things around. I mean, you're doing a fabulous job. This is not that easy to do. And so I love it that you're able to do this. This is awesome.
I'm just the grunt who carries the lights around. So I can't do any of it.
Now,
it's so much
I happen to know that you were helping with the Ethernet early before the show, so you had a job.
It's still not working, so my tenure here is limited.
He knows his place. His talent.
Well, I have to. So Kimberly Wells and I decided to do a couple of fun things because I think both of us, well, everyone I know was suffering from cave dwelling during COVID. So we said, let's do a couple of shows. And so she lines one up, and she's teaching me about Be Live, like what we're doing right now. And she lines it up. And we literally were just going to have fun. I was going to do some giveaways and all of that. And the next thing I know, she's got surprise guest, just like she did with you and Paul for Behind the Curtain. And she just set it up beautifully. So we did another one recently that was on National Guacamole Day, where we both made guacamole, our special recipes. And she brought other people in about their secret ingredient. I mean, we really just... You know, we're trying to have a little bit of fun in between the seriousness of everything else that's going on. And
so true.
You know, I have to say there's a lot of people tuning into this show. Like, I'm a little nervous about this. That I'm watching all these names pop up over here, and it's really, I mean, honestly, I have to say a few thank yous here. There's a lot of people. Thank you for tuning in this morning. This is really special. Thank you.
Well, we love our audience here. They've been very, very loyal. And when we were out of the country, we couldn't do the show, and we missed seeing everybody.
Yeah.
Is that our neighbor dog?
It's Boda.
Boda's around. He wants me to come visit him.
Even though the weather today is a little bit iffy and we're running between raindrops to get to our classes this morning, I said, it's actually cool. And in Florida, that's just so unusual. So we wanted to take
today
advantage of it.
Today, it's not the Sunshine State.
Yeah. But it's still the Palm State. So let's keep going, Dallas.
Oh, there's more?
There's more. I have something else. And unfortunately, I don't have the video. All I have are pictures from the video.
link.
But I have...
That was the hotel.
Honey?
The link.
Oh, I was gonna say
You
I have
just
the link
remember.
right
Oh,
here.
that's right, the links.
Yeah.
It's called the links. Yes, I think
Good
LYNX or something like that.
Uh-oh.
He'll find his way
Fine,
back.
it's okay.
He always does.
I need to think about it.
He's curious.
There
Sorry,
he is.
live TV.
He wants to be on. Look at it. He's right down there.
He can hear us talking, I think, and he knows our voices. He'll come out and run out on the dock with us.
Oh, yeah.
Getting the boat ready to take out. So I think that's what's going on. It's just so funny. Okay, but the funny thing about what you said, coming up with the links,
Yeah.
is I was going to say what I have. Photo.
I might have to take him around.
What I have. Well, if you want to,
I'll do it. We'll just call it.
Dallas and I never run out of things. to
There you
talk
go. I'll be
about.
right back.
He'll be fine. You know,
I got it.
Kimberly and I were doing a video once, and a dog ran in and jumped right up in her lap and started licking her face, and it was hysterical.
Oh, that's cute. That, you know, it's funny that's what I have heard people actually love about the shopping channels, the way that they're running now, is
Yeah.
that all the guests are Skyping in because they can't be in the studio. Because they're Skyping in from home, you never know what's the doorbell rings, the mailman insists that you sign for the package, the dog barks, you know, the
Phones ring.
the phones ring. Exactly. So all that stuff is going on behind the scenes, but people are like, you know what? This is real. Like, this is reality TV,
It is.
you know? So
It
here's
is, and I actually appreciate a little bit more, probably because it's more relaxing. We're more natural in our own habitat, in our own homes, you know, all the
That's
time, and it just feels better. And I think the customers can relate to that a little bit more so than just watching the same rhetoric of a show. You know, you have a lineup, you have to get through it, you
Yep.
blah blah blah, and
Yep.
it's not quite the same. So I think customers are enjoying this.
And what you said about being a cave dweller, I think is so true. But you also said, when you and I were talking the other day, about how much work you're getting done and how many designs are pouring out of your head and hand.
So much, so many more things,
awesome.
and exciting things, really, you know, that I think when you're on a timeline that you have to meet deadlines.
Yeah.
That's different than when you're designing the way you've always wanted to design. You're designing things that you want people to know, this is what I do. This is what I bring to the table. And I've evolved and reinvented myself over these 20 years in the business. This is my 20th year in this industry. And reinventing yourself every now and then is a great, great thing to do. So I'm doing that a lot. And it's paying off.
Well, I have something else to show you. And this one does have a link. So while I can't show the video, you'll be able to see the fun and be reminded of the fun that we had when we shot this video, when we shot this commercial. And it was for, look at you. Look at you. I am cracking up over this because we have to tell everybody this commercial for the jewelry heist in Vegas was shot on 2 completely separate days, and we couldn't all be together. So Paul and Chuck and I were there on one of the days, and there's Chuck handing out his $100 bills at the casino at the poker table. And then Michael and Dallas and Sam Benham were there a different day. The way they edited all this together was so, here I am studying my cards like I have no idea what to do. And Chuck was saying, all in, push those chips all in. So I'm like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then they edited in Dallas going, oh no, I'm out. I can't handle this. So that can be seen on YouTube in its entirety. And I just think it's so funny.
They did some of the cutest things. Every time we had a JCK show, which was really just once a year at the beginning of June, every single one of those promotional videos that they did were fabulous.
They were so good, and they were so clever. And when we had, I think it was Chuck as our guest on Sunday Funday. And I'll have to put the link in the comment section after our show. But we showed part of the video that they were behind the scenes getting ready to shoot in Tucson with
that
the
was a
guys
blast.
with the hats and the chaps and the long coats. And they had their toy guns and they had their cowboy boots. And they were, remember, you guys were sent out to some corral.
It was old Tucson.
Old Tucson, where all the old
my
mining
gosh.
things were. And one was sitting, with the hat down and having a stick in his mouth. And the other one was coming out of the salon, some salon with the doors that opened. It was so fun.
The funniest thing about that, well, first of all, is that I had my own hat and boots and gun.
Yep.
And,
we brought him with us. You should have seen TSA going through the airport.
No, actually, I sent the gun out there with Tom Elliott.
Yeah, because we were worried about that, actually.
Really?
So
there wouldn't be a problem.
But it was so funny because they had Michael as the sheriff, which upset Chuck because he was Canadian. How can he be the sheriff?
How can he be the sheriff?
And then I was at the mining office, and Chuck was in the salon, not the saloon. He was in the salon.
And he went, how come I have to come out of the salon?
But the funniest thing are the things that could never be on camera. And
Yes.
so at one point, he's looking across at this little pen that had a donkey in it. And so Chuck says, "Look at that jackass over there." And I said, "That's funny. I think he's saying the same thing looking back at you." And then he just lost it. And he says, "I don't even know I'm laughing."
Like, wait, I think that was insulting.
I have to tell you that I was this close, because a couple of times when you guys were shooting, I was just all upset about it because I always had, I had cowboy hats, I've got the chaps, I've got all kinds of things. I mean, you can't have the name Dallas without knowing where I grew up. I was definitely on a farm a few times. However, I wanted to come in as an amiguette and be the new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
And I had it all planned out to surprise you guys, and then you guys went to a different place.
Yeah.
That was so
They
funny.
wanted nothing to do with any girls among the three of them.
Chuck was funny about that too. She comes in and says something about being the fourth amigo. He says, "No."
I know, he did.
I said, "Chuck, I think you're being a little hasty because we could have a buy-in. There's got to be an initiation fee.
Let's think about this.
I'm going to get the money angle of the whole thing."
Oh my God, I'm laughing so hard I can't open my eyes.
I know, me too. I haven't stopped smiling the whole show. Okay, so do you have anything imperative before your anniversary show to tell us as far as your schedule or anything else you're doing? Didn't you have a show last night with Heather?
I had a show Friday night with Heather. They've kicked off, a holiday month. I mean, we're always a little early with showing you holiday opportunities. So they always kick something off in October. So we kicked off, a holiday gift show.
Oh, yeah.
That they're going to kind of sneak in throughout October, getting into Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of those fabulous times that we love. And so that was just a 1-hour show, but I had fabulous items in that. Those items were just a little bit of a teaser leading into my anniversary. My anniversary show is October 13th and 14th. I have 7 hours and a top value for that anniversary. And that is the most amount of new merchandise I've ever had in any show. So I'm looking forward to showing everyone because I'm always a little proud of my little twinkly, sparkly babies. And I can't wait to show everybody. And my top value is exceptional.
Well, that's in 16 years. That's quite an accomplishment.
We can't wait. Yeah. We've got it on our
calendar. So you guys now, so I'm 20 years total in this industry now.
Yeah.
You guys are what?
Well, we both got in the business the same exact year. It just took us another 9 to meet each other. But we got into the business in 1989.
Oh my gosh.
At 2 different channels, and then both bounced around, throughout those 30 plus years now. But it's been quite an amazing ride, and it's not coming to an end anytime soon. Wink, wink.
Yeah. We all right now it's kind of like musical chairs and jockeying around. So what's going to happen going into 2021? What can we do? How can I reinvent myself again and make it the best year ever? And, that's exciting for all of us, I think. So wink, wink. I hope that we all end up exactly where we're supposed to and that it's fabulous once again.
Well, and that we all keep in touch, which is even more important.
Yes. The two of you. So there. Pay attention to that statement.
Yeah.
I think that if I get Kimberly and we do another show, we'll have you guys on as our guest and we'll just keep this little ball rolling.
That would be so much fun.
And I will be the fourth wheel in that one with all you girls.
Yes, there might be a buy-in.
No, we'll bring Vincent on.
There we go.
You guys can cook.
I'm okay with that too.
There you go.
I'm okay with that too.
Hey, thanks for the segue. We'll be talking about that momentarily.
Oh, good.
In the kitchen with Paul and Judy.
Oh my goodness, Dave King is Dave King and Jenny.
Today?
That's right.
Is it today? Yeah.
October
5th, I think.
Is it the 5th?
5th or 6th.
Today's the 4th.
Oh, then it'll be tomorrow.
Happy early birthday,
Never mind, Dave.
He takes it back.
So I made Jenny's ring when he proposed.
Oh.
Wow. How cool is that?
It was the most special. He was so excited. I mean, they're just, they're adorable, like you guys. Both of you guys are like a bucket of bunnies. I told you that once before, right?
Yes, you did. That's right.
Really, it's adorable. So
Really
it's good to see their names. Hey, Dave and Jenny.
Absolutely. It's funny because I wish that we had said something to Dave. He was, of course, very private about their wedding, but we were in Hawaii and we were coming home through LA the day that they were getting married. And if only I had said something to Dave, we might have been able to go to the wedding, stay over one night, and then fly home the next day instead. But as you talked about with Paul and staying in touch and staying in communication, we need to be better at that.
How many years has it been since we were in LA at that place having dinner with Dave and
that was a long
Jenny
time ago.
and
That was a completely
6
different time.
6 years ago.
I don't know. You'll have to ask Dave. He's so good with dates.
Well, I'm kind of I'm a secret crazy wedding person. I love weddings.
Yeah.
And Vincent had to get up this morning very early to go to the airport. He's flying to Ohio to do an event for St. Jude and help raise money for the kids today.
That's
And
awesome.
tomorrow. So
That's awesome.
I was watching Say Yes to the Dress for like 2 hours before I got ready to do this show because I love anything about weddings. And I was just at a wedding for someone else whose ring that I made. Look at this beautiful photo.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that gorgeous? And it was in their front yard and I was so excited for them. But what's nice when you make the rings a lot of times is you kind of get a little invite to the wedding.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
My secret obsession. Love.
Oh, well, speaking of being good at dates, he just wants to remind us it's the 6th. So put it on your calendar.
Okay, then.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Love you on Tuesday. Hey, Dallas, thank you so much for today. This has been so much fun. And I know we've taken up more of your time than I promised we would, but it's been such a pleasure to see you, to catch up, to reminisce, and to also enjoy all of the customers writing in too.
I have no words. I mean, I didn't expect this. I love it that we have so many customers. You guys have built such an audience with this fabulous show, and congratulations on that. And anything else that might be coming up for you, I want to hear about it immediately.
Dallas said to me when we did our practice, because I do a practice with all of our guests ahead of time, so everybody knows what to expect. Yeah, that we can work out this. Even though this morning we still had one last kink that didn't quite work out. Hopefully we didn't buffer. We didn't see anybody saying, okay, you frozen, you buffered, you stopped.
No, it's perfect.
But we're definitely in borrowed time.
Yeah, we're all, this is true. But now I forgot what I was going to say. It couldn't have been that important.
No, it was important.
You were going to say how much you miss us,
Yeah.
Vincent and I, and that we're going to see each other
And
very soon, I
we'll
hope.
always have Paris. Remember the trip to Paris we took with them?
That's right. Remember that dinner in the Eiffel Tower
Las Vegas.
in Vegas?
It was amazing. And you guys are quite the gift givers. We still have some of those things, by the way.
As I remember, that was a very special birthday.
Yes, it was.
So we
It
had
was.
to bring some fun things to
You
celebrate.
did. They're still in the office right now, all of them. The little Snuggie cup. The Snuggie cup.
Yep. Yep. Well, we have more memories to make, Dallas, so we will make sure that happens.
Well,
Okay.
I look forward to every minute. Thank you guys so much. This has been the best Sunday morning for me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Mwah. We love you,
Yeah.
and the best to Vincent.
Give a hug to Vince for
Hope
us.
he
I'll
makes
let
a
him
lot of
know.
money for St. Jude's.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Bye, Dallas.
Bye.
Ah, how fun.
Too fun.
I know. Isn't she just the best? It's so, I got the greatest compliment. I should have told her this while she was still on our show.
Yeah.
And I just talked to my parents this morning, and he said, so what's going on? Because we just gotten back from vacation. How was your trip? Did you have a good time? So what's happening? And I said, well, Paul is playing basketball. I'm coming home. I call it Pilates church. I'm coming home from my Pilates church that I go to every Sunday morning. And I said, and we have our Sunday Funday, so we'll be setting up for that. Oh, and I said, we have a guest joining us. And I remembered that my dad said when he watched Dallas,
That's right.
he said, you know what? She reminds me a lot of you and the way that you present your jewelry. He said, she's got a very soothing voice. She's very calm. She, laughs but her voice is low. And I said, oh, isn't that interesting? And I don't think I ever told Dallas that story, but that was a comment that my dad made. So I said, you remember that girl? Well, she's going to be our guest virtually from California. So I'm glad you thought that was fun. Oh, but we're not finished quite yet because now we have to do a little self-promotion.
Okay.
Okay. So let's promote you first.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you're asking me first for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're going to talk about my latest video, which is on Zoltanite.
Yes.
And that's another one by a customer request. Her name is Renee.
Okay. And she actually wrote in and said, thank you so much for satisfying my request for information.
And so if you have any more requests that you would like me to, it's kind of fun. And right now, Renee will be happy to know it's ranked second of all the videos I've done.
Wow.
For now. So
Cool.
we'll see if that continues.
It's not a common stone that people hear the word or the name about a lot. So maybe that's why there's a curiosity
And it's even
factor.
called something different now, which makes it more confusing. But we have a little bit of this to show everybody.
Is that supposed to be my cue?
Is that a cue?
Is that what you wanted? Is it
Yes.
to pick up on that? Okay, here we go.
This week's lesson will be
Starting over. Try to start over. Okay, hold on. I have to do this correctly. So let me start completely over and try this again.
Well, this week's lesson will be on a gemstone known as Zoltanite. And Zoltanite is actually a name that was given for its actual name, which is Diaspore. Now, it's really ironic that I'm doing these by request back to back, because last week, as you recall, we did something called chrome diopside, and I called it the beautiful gem with an ugly name. Well, I think that Diaspore gives it a run for the money. Sounds like a fungus, doesn't it? There are only a few gemstones that are truly what we call color change gemstones. One that you probably all have heard of would be the Alexandrite, which was discovered in Russia in the Ural Mountains in about maybe the early 1800s. And then the Zoltanite, also known as the gem quality Diaspore, was discovered. It is also a color change stone, which is why I'm bringing it up.
So that's the latest. And Jane, who weighs in on this show, kept saying, I'm missing the live.
Oh, yeah.
So I want Jane and everybody to know when we do this Facebook Live, it's live. When we do the YouTube, I'm pre-taping it, and then I add some of the other graphics to it. And so you're not missing anything, Jane. I wanted to let you know that. Generally speaking, Saturdays at 10 in the morning Eastern time is when the new ones come. Every once in a while, I might throw in a live so people can just comment, and I'll let you know ahead of time when that's going to happen. So other than that, those are, Jane, you're not missing a thing. Yeah.
You can watch it anytime you want
Yeah.
to, and any day of the week that you want to, and as many times as you want to.
All right, 10 might be a little too many times to watch one video, but
And there she is. There's Jane,
Yeah.
Diaspora. Can't spell the other name for it. Very educated. I think she's your biggest fan.
well, Zarite is what they're calling it now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
They'll have to watch a video to find out.
Okay.
Now, how about you?
Okay, so we have another video coming out tomorrow morning, and I often say this on the show, so forgive me if it's repetitious for you, but I like to alternate our In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy's with my Get Fit with Judy videos. And I have to confess that the In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy videos are not always healthy recipes. So
Not if
they
I can
really
eat 'em.
don't go hand in hand, except to say, and one viewer actually said, "Oh, I see what you're doing. You fatten us up with your recipes, and then you guide us over to your fitness side of your channel to help us take it all back off."
Truth
again."
is, we had leftovers of In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy last night, and I had a leftover this morning.
Yes, we did. And it's actually of this recipe. So we'll show you a little snippet of what's going to happen at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Love this. Love the spontaneity.
The thing about being a chef, as much of a hack of a chef as I am,
We are.
I didn't want to lump you into that, but thanks. Thanks for coming on the ride.
I'm a team with you, baby.
I truly learned this when we were at QVC, and I actually had to take a cooking class with a prominent Philadelphia chef. And it was at a place that wasn't where he was accustomed to everything. He didn't have his mise en place that he's used to. And anyway, improvising is the
art
key. Yeah.
is the art.
It really is.
Okay, so now the rest of that half, goes on the second one.
I have some pretty to give you too. No.
Perfect. And I'm just supposed to gently fold it in. So that is another recipe.
Delicious, by the way.
It is, and we giving away some of the surprise of it, but you actually did see 2 pie pans sitting out there. So we decided to try to freeze it and have the second one, because we made it the day before we left on our vacation. So I said, I hate for the other one to go to waste. So we said, I actually looked it up online. Can you freeze a quiche? And we made sure that it was cold, that it had cooled and was refrigerated, and then we froze it, took it out, and that's what we had the night we got back for dinner. So it's very good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner,
And
or
I've
a
used it
Sunday
for all
brunch.
3. I think.
We need. So that's what's coming out tomorrow, and that was a recipe that was submitted by one of our viewers. And we've made one of her recipes before, and her name is LaDawn. And I give you all the information to her blog because she then adapted it from someone else's blog, and I give the name of that one too. So it's fun to see it all come around and everybody get credit and everybody's interpretation and version of the same recipe.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see that tomorrow too. So that's coming up at 9 a.m. and that'll be actually on my YouTube channel, which is this one right here. And I did a couple of little fun things just to show you the variety of videos that are on my YouTube channel. And then I circled in the upper left-hand side videos. But if you want a particular playlist, let's say that you're not into fitness.
Right.
So you just want to see the In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy. You can go to the playlist section and then you can look for all of the different recipes that we've done. And tomorrow morning, the burst tomato, prosciutto, and goat cheese quiche will be in this lineup.
And very, very, it is delicious.
It is.
I would tell you if it wasn't, but it's really, really
Yeah.
good.
Most of the things, in fact, all of the things that we've made have come out eventually very good. It's only one that we had to, that it was our fault that we adapted in the wrong fashion, that we did it again and then said, this is the way that we
Perfect.
should have
Yeah,
interpreted
that's
it. So that's anyway a good way to be able to see the different videos. And then this week I'm editing Get Fit with Judy video that'll be released the following Monday. So we're cranking them out as fast as we can.
Listen, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We went overtime today.
We did.
That's, you know what? We could do this too. The half of it was last week's, and half of it is today's.
Justification.
Yes.
That's great. Yes, because this was actually an hour-long show. So if you had to leave early, we completely understand. There's LaDon's sister. Oh, LaDon. She'll be so happy to see it. Yes. And I will expect a complete review.
A critique.
A critique. It's funny. It actually ended up being, oh my gosh, you guys, I was editing this
On the whole vacation.
on vacation because it's 4 parts. We kept forgetting that this needed to be mixed and then cool. And this needed to be on the stove. And then someone put it on the wrong burner. So it took a little longer for
That
that
would be
portion
me.
of the recipe.
That would be me.
And then it had to cook for an hour. And of course, we weren't going to sit there and chat. So that I had 4 sources and 4 parts. And I almost broke the computer editing that, that recipe. But it worked out eventually.
Yeah.
So I think you'll have fun
It's
watching.
all good.
But we appreciate your being here. And wherever you are and whenever you are tuning in, it will live on this page. So we'll come back and read your comments, but thanks for all your
Thank
support
you, guys.
for Dallas, especially. I know how much she appreciated it, and we'll hope to have her on as a guest another time.
Of course.
See you next weekend. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.